Please take your seat because we cannot start until we are settled. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are glad to welcome you to the second International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research. At this point, we would like to call on us all to please stand to take our anthems. First, the national anthem. Or your state anthem. LAUTECH anthem. May we be seated. Once again, we'd like to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the second International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research. It is being organized by the Cement and Concrete Research Group of the LAUTECH University of Technology here in Ogbomoso, in collaboration with Sustainable Green Concrete Research Group of the University of South Africa. This morning, the theme is Innovations in Cement and Concrete Production for Sustainable Development. We would like to inform strangers in our midst, including those who have been admitted as honorary members of the LAUTECH community, that the LAUTECH University of Technology, where you are seated this morning, is the #1 university of technology in Nigeria. It is also important that I notify or remind us that when you talk of state-owned universities in Nigeria, we are still the best. When you now consider state universities, federal government-owned universities, privately owned universities, or those owned by various religious organizations, we are #11 best. At this point, and as usual with us, we don't believe that all these achievements are due to our wisdom or knowledge. We believe that we have been endowed by our Creator, God Almighty. And so we won't do anything without putting God first. If you permit me, I'll call on the Chief Imam of LAUTECH Muslim Community, Professor Abdul Wahab Tijani, to lead us in the opening prayer.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. We seek refuge in Almighty Allah, away from accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. We praise thee, O Allah, for your blessings, your bounties and grace on this occasion, for having granted our visitors, our participants, journey masses from their various destinations. We praise you for all the progress we have made in this institution, in this group, the research group, the Cement and Concrete Research Group. We beseech thee to continue to be with us, guide our affairs throughout our deliberations. Along Yasir Umurana, Rashadan. And by the time we are concluding, we beseech that you grant all participants journey masses back to their various destinations. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. غير المكتوب عليهم ولا يصلوا على محمد كريم.
Amen. At this point, we will appoint some dignitaries to be in charge of this program. And in appointing them, we are of the opinion that even God that says we should respect constituted authorities realizes that some people are above some other ones. It has pleased God to place as the Vice Chancellor of LAUTECH Professor Razak Olatunde Rom Kalilu. But we all know that we are going through accreditation exercises at this point. So he is unavoidably absent. He has appointed a very diligent, respected, and able lieutenant in the person of the chairman, committee of provost and dean of this university, Professor Tunde Ogbokole. So please come to the item, sir. It is also my pleasure to invite to the high table representative of the University Bossa, Mr. Mukaila Akimbola. Please join me in bringing to the high table the librarian of the university, Dr. Mrs. Modupeola Aboyade. The registrar is on his way. He'll be introduced when he comes in. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, you assist me by clapping for these very important people as they march to the high table. The Director General, Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute, represented by Dr. Jubrin Sule. Please come upstairs to the high table. It is also my pleasure to bring to the high table the National President, National Association of Block Molders of Nigeria, Prince Adeshegun Banjoko. Even when I'll be limited in introducing dignitaries because everybody is important, I'll seek your indulgence to let me recognize the chapter chairman, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ogbomoso chapter, the chairman, University Implementation and Monitoring Committee, Professor Engineer Samson Ojuawo. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the Dean of Environmental Sciences, Professor Musbao Omakinjelili. Please join me in recognizing the presence of the representative of the Dean, Faculty of Pure and Applied Sciences, Professor Musbauddin Abdul Ahmed. I am sorry, but then I want to recognize the representative of the Dean of Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Dr. Adeolu Adeneji. If I have omitted recognizing you, it is not because you are less important. It is for our time. Dean of Engineering, Professor Ladejo, please be upstanding for recognition. We have some visitors who are related to LAUTECH, who have continued to signify their intention to be so recognized. So please pardon me to recognize all the way from Ogun State University, Dr. Mrs. Blessing Orogbade. From the Osun State University, we have Dr. Mutiu Karim. Please be upstanding for recognition. We also have the leader of the team. When I say the team, I mean the Cement and Concrete Research Group of LAUTECH, Professor Hakeem Aide Rahim. Professors here present, members of the academic community, please give me 2 minutes to recognize my organ. You're welcome, sir. I said I was going to recognize the registrar when he comes. The registrar of the university, secretary to Senate, and council of this university, Dr. Kayode Akindele Ogunleye, is the one coming upstairs. You are welcome, sir. I'd like to respectfully inform us that the director of the Open and Distant Learning Center of the great Ladoke Akintola University, Professor Ganiu, please, you are welcome, sir. And like I promised, we are not going to waste any minute. So at this point, I want to call to the podium Professor Hakeem Aide Rahim, give his welcome address.
Acting Vice Chancellor, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, ably represented by the Chairman, Committee of Deans and Provost, Professor J.T. Okunkunle, the Registrar of the University, Dr. Kayode Ogunleye, the Librarian, Madam Aboyadu, the Bursar, represented by Alhaji Akimbola, our invited guests, distinguished guests. We have here with us the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, Professor Samson Duna, ably represented by the Director of Building in person of Dr. Jibril Sule. You're most welcome, sir. We also have in there the National President, National Association of Block Makers, Block Molders of Nigeria, Prince Adesegun Bamjoko, all the way from Ikorodu, Lagos. You're welcome, sir. Other important dignitaries, deans of faculties. We have the Dean of Engineering here. We also have the Dean of Environmental Sciences and the Dean of Social Sciences, other deans. Professors in the universities, distinguished staff, both academic and non-academic, great Nigerian students. Are you here or not? I don't know whether you are here. Great Nigerian students. Thank you. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, invitees and participants at the conference, all the way from far and near. We have people from Nigeria that are here. We also have participants outside the country, in South Africa, in Canada, UK. They are all viewing it live as we live stream this event. Let me particularly thank the first 3 people that came yesterday from Ado-Ekiti, Fuoye Ado-Ekiti. That is Osoyin and Co. You are most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here today to deliver the welcome address of the 2nd International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research. Glory be to Almighty God for sparing our lives to witness the 2nd edition of this conference. This conference is being organized by the Cement and Concrete Research Group, LAUTECH Ogbomoso, in collaboration with Sustainable Green Concrete Research Group, University of South Africa, UNISA. And the theme of this 2nd edition is Innovations in Cement and Concrete Production for Sustainable Development. The conference will provide a platform for researchers, contractors, academia, industries, and others to discuss the challenges, advanced techniques, and new frontiers in the production and testing of cement and concrete materials for sustainable development. The conference hopes to give opportunity for scientific and technical exchanges of ideas that will enhance development of knowledge, skills, and progress in the specialized field of cement and concrete material. Last year, we started the first edition, and glory be to God that this year we are here to enforce continuity. We pray that, inshallah, it shall continue like that. No break in transmission. May Allah assist us. We have invited seasoned professionals as keynote speakers for this second edition of the conference. They are Associate Professor Dr. Boxon Kim from the University of Plasmont in UK. He will be delivering a paper online, virtually. The second one is Engineer Professor Samson Duna, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute. He was supposed to be here personally, but he has to travel out of the country. In fact, as I speak with you, he's in air, watching this program live. Because of his love for us, he has sent an able person all the way from Abuja to represent him. And that's why we have Dr. Jibril Sule here with us today. The third person, thank you. The third person is Dr. Maruf Olalekan Yusuf from University of Al-Bantin, Saudi Arabia. And the fourth person is Professor Adeyemi Adeshina from University of Windsor, Canada. The last two will also be presenting their papers online, virtually. These are seasoned experts in their various professions, and I assure you that you will gain tremendously from their experience. Members of the International Scientific Committee that reviewed papers submitted for this conference were drawn from our institutions within and outside Nigeria. Altogether, a total of 51 abstracts were received for the conference. And the presentations we are going to have will be in two forms, on-site and virtually. The calendar for the presentations is in the abstract and in the program. Let me apologize that the program is a bit late. It's on its way from Ilori. As soon as it comes, we'll distribute to you. We are going to have 3 technical sessions, 2 of which will be on-site and 1 will be online. I want to thank the university administration for their support in providing a conducive atmosphere for this conference. I also want to appreciate the director of LAUTECH Open Distance Learning, Professor Ganil, and his team for assisting with live streaming of this event. Thank you very much. I also want to appreciate our sponsors, even though very few in number, because of the hardship. Particularly, let me mention EMR Mining. They are the one that push us up to say we'll be able to have something. We also have others. We thank you very much for your donations to have this conference. All paper presenters, reviewers, organizing committee members, and the audience are also appreciated. I say thank you to you all. Please relax, enjoy the conference. Also find time to move around our campus and even around Ogbomoso town. You will never regret it. Thank you very much for your rapt attention. You are all most welcome to LAUTECH, the best state university in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
We thank the chairman of our research group, on cement and concrete in LAUTECH for that welcome address. Now we listen to goodwill messages. And it is my pleasure to call on the Dean of Environmental Sciences, Professor Musbao Omakinjelili, to represent the chairman of COPD.
Goodwill message of the chairman of Committee of Provost and Deans, as represented by my humble self. The guest of honor, the acting vice chancellor, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH Ogbomoso, Professor Aaron Kalilu, ably represented by the Chairman Committee of Provost and Deans, Professor Gunkunle, the registrar, the bursar, and the librarian, LAUTECH Ogbomoso. The deans of faculties here present, distinguished professors here in present, all LAUTECH staff, other participants and students, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to grace this occasion of the opening ceremony of the second International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research 2023, organized by the Cement and Concrete Research Group, LAUTECH, under the able leadership of Professor A. Rahi, in partnership with Sustainable Green Concrete Research Group, South UNISA, South Africa. The recent revelation by the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria that has the number of building collapses in Africa calls for a radical response from the federal and state governments. Building collapses have recently escalated, and Lagos is the epicenter. Among the 2021 cases recorded in the country in over 4 decades, Lagos, the country's largest cosmopolitan center, accounts for 60%. The Building Collapse Prevention Guide recorded at least 60 catastrophes in 2022, causing 84 deaths and injuring 113 persons. Lagos had 20 cases, while Kano and Anambra recorded 5 building accidents, and Delta and Jigawa 4 each. Also, 135 cases were reported between 2007 and 2013, as reported. Lately, buildings have been collapsing in high-brow areas of Lagos and in densely populated areas, leading to multiple injuries and deaths. The 7-story building on 1st Avenue, Banana Island, Ikoyi, in April this year, with attached traumas reported. This calls for urgent and effective remedial measures. There is also a lot of blame game among professional stakeholders in the industry once failure or collapse of building occurs. And unfortunately, there is no scientific investigation in most developing countries such as Nigeria to ascertain the cause of failure or collapse. As the case may be, in order to avoid any future occurrence. Most often, it was discovered that building materials such as reinforcing steel, cement, sand, granite, sandcrete blocks, and concrete play huge, important roles in either the collapse or stability of buildings in Nigeria. The roles of these materials are so vital and they contribute immensely to the collapse of buildings. So your various research groups, ladies and gentlemen, have several rules to play in addressing this, as it is I believe that most of the papers to be presented in this conference will significantly contribute to the solutions to these menace. I wish you all fruitful and happy deliberations during this year conference. Long live Cement and Concrete Research Group, LAUTECH, long live LAUTECH, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. I thank you all.
We thank our chairman of COPD, and I want to assist him by saying long live for your state. At this point, still on goodwill messages, I'd like to invite the Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor Ladipupo Oladejo, to give his goodwill message.
The Acting Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to sit on the existing protocol. Goodwill message for the International Conference of Advances in Cement and Concrete Research, as delivered by the Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, LAUTECH, Ogbomoso. Dear esteemed participants and distinguished guests, it is my most pleasure to deliver a goodwill message as the Dean of Faculty of Engineering and Technology at the Second International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research, organized by the Cement and Concrete Research Group, CEMCON LAUTECH Ogbomoso, in collaboration with the Sustainable Green Concrete Research Group, SGCRG, UNISA South Africa. I extend a warm welcome to all the attendees with great enthusiasm as we anticipate an extraordinary gathering of brilliant minds and passionate professionals in the field of cement and concrete research from all corners of the globe. This prestigious conference aims to lay the foundation for fruitful collaborations, exchange of innovative ideas, and dissemination of our cutting-edge research findings as we embark on a collective journey to explore the latest advancements, discuss emerging trends, and network with renowned experts in this dynamic domain. Throughout the conference, attendees will have the incredible opportunity to delve into a wide range of captivating topics, including sustainable construction materials, durability of concrete structures, novel building technologies, and many more. The carefully curated sessions, keynote presentations, and panel discussions are designed to enrich your knowledge, broaden your perspectives, and inspire creative solutions to challenges faced within the industry. Indeed, this conference would not be possible without the dedication and incredible contributions from esteemed researchers, scholars, and industry professionals like you yourself. Your presence at this international gathering signifies a commitment to furthering the advancement in cement and concrete research, and we truly value your expertise and insights. Aside from the academics and professional aspects, there are also social events and networking opportunities that will provide a platform for lively interactions, idea sharing, and fostering partnership that extend beyond the conference walls. As the event approaches, and as we are into it today, we encourage you to prepare to seize the opportunity to share your expertise, engage in thought-provoking discussions, and connect with fellow participants who share the same passion for cement and concrete research. I would like to express my deepest appreciation to our sponsors and supporters and volunteers who have steadfastly worked to ensure the success of this conference. Your unwavering commitment to advancing the field of cement and concrete research is highly commendable. I wish you fruitful deliberations and warmest regard from the Dean Fed. Thank you.
We appreciate you, sir. The next goodwill message will be delivered by the Director of School of Engineering, University of South Africa, will be done online. I want to call on Professor Rahim to undo that aspect. Professor Rahim.
Thank you very much. We have our collaborators. Two of them want to give goodwill message, and it will be done online. Professor Ikotun is presently online, while the second person is the director of their School of Engineering, UNISA, Professor Tuala, the Dibu. So, Professor, come on first, if Professor Tuala is not ready, and then later on, they will interchange. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can I start now?
Hello, Professor Ikotun. You can share your slide if you want.
Prof, can I start?
You can share your slide if you want to. We are seeing you live.
Okay. I want to greet everyone standing on the existing protocol for this conference. I want to appreciate everyone that has been part of this from the beginning, all our visitors, and those that have traveled from different places to be part of this conference. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it this time around, but I just want to say to everyone that a lot of planning had gone into it. We've received wonderful papers, thought-provoking research findings that had been put into articles, into papers articles that had been submitted for this conference. And I want to say to everyone that the engagement we'll be having from the keynote speakers and also for the presenters are things that will push us further into the research as cement and concrete is concerned. And for this is the second year we'll be having our international conference. Last year we had about 30 papers that were published in Materials Today's Proceedings. And for those that don't know, the Materials Today Proceedings is listed under Scopus, is internationally recognized and is accredited journal. And based on that, we are also having the same planning this year to publish our papers in international accredited journal. I want to say, enjoy, gain all you need to gain, and again, network. Because one of the reasons for conference is to have good networking for further research, collaboration for further research. Actually, the conception of this conference started from collaboration between CEMCON in Nigeria and Sustainable Built Concrete Research in South Africa. So what we are having today is from that collaboration. So I'm saying that we can have further collaboration among colleagues that will be doing wonderful research together as a result of this conference. So as we enjoy this conference, let's also network, let us collaborate and have further research based on this. Welcome everyone from me, from South Africa, UNISA, and Bolanle Ikotu. Thank you so much and enjoy the conference.
Second one. So we listen to the second keynote and the second goodwill from the director, School of Engineering, University of South Africa, Professor Twala Didibuku. Professor Twala, please, you can connect. Unmute yourself and talk to us, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor. Thanks so much, Program Director. A good morning. I think on both sides in terms of South Africa and Nigeria, it's still a good morning. Thanks so much for this particular opportunity. So just to pass some few words in terms of the delegates. So I think the second international conference on advances in cement and concrete research. So we fully support it from the University of South Africa. So I think in terms of our professor, Professor Ikotu, I think he have been involved in such a conference. And from us, from the Director's office, I think we are very happy and also very proud. I think in terms of West Africa, if I can just say something. So I've been with the University of Johannesburg before I joined the University of South Africa. In terms of our students, in terms of the main feeder, so to the program, to the postgraduates at the University of Johannesburg, the students, 80% of them, they come between two countries, that is Nigeria and Ghana. So to me, this PECA conference is just really strengthening that PECA relationship. So between us, as researchers within the African continent. Such particular research is quite important from the side of us as African researchers. We need to come with African solutions and discuss our problems in Africa. We've seen so many people when we discuss our problems and challenges, we go outside, the African continent. To me, this PECA conference is trying to highlight, to say, what are the things from the African perspective that we can do in order to advance the academic scholarship in terms of research around the cement and concrete research. So in many African countries, the only thing that we do with regards to the production and the areas in terms of research around concrete and cement. So it's just a consumption. There's no new technology around the concrete. To me, the challenge to this particular gathering in terms of the conference to say, we need to be able to develop technologies around this particular subject. Let us not be consumers. Let us take the research forward by coming with innovation. Let us have our own cement, the technology around the cement, it must be produced in Africa. To me, I want to challenge this particular conference to say, as we deliver the papers, as we look forward, let us plan. I was in China. I came back just last week. One of the things that is happening in China, they're actually planning on 2070 now to say, how will China look like in 2070? Ourselves are still struggling with 2030. China have achieved everything they wanted to achieve by 2050. Now they're looking at the China in 2070. How will China look like by 2070? So let us have this particular visionary looking forward to say, what is the Africa that we want to have? So the Africa that we're going to be able to export our technologies, not necessarily to be the consumers, of the technology. This is one of the downfalls of Africa, whereby the only thing we're just good in terms of the usage of technology, but in terms of the production of the technology, that's going to be owned by us. And at the end of the day, what we need to do, we need to be able to export this type of technology so that we can demonstrate to say, as Africans, this is what we can show the world in terms of our capability. Just from my side, from the University of South Africa, so under the College of Engineering, Science, and Technology. So it is my pleasure just to welcome everyone to say this particular conference, we fully support it from our side and looking forward in terms of a productive conference. Thank you so much, Professor.
We thank everybody for listening. Can I call on the President National Association of Block Molders of Nigeria, Prince Adeshegun Banjoku, to give his goodwill address?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have this goodwill message to read. But before that, I will endeavor to stand on existing protocols, which I'm sure are based on concrete, so that it doesn't collapse. All protocols duly observed. Please permit me to publicly appreciate the foresight and resilience of Professor Hakeem Rahim, and his team, whose efforts and sacrifices gave birth to this forum of think tanks for the second year running on innovations in cement and concrete productions, particularly at a time like this in Nigeria, when prices of cement are speaking in tongues, and the search for alternative homegrown raw material to produce quality and pocket-friendly cement is occupying a front burner attention. Quality cement, you agree with me, is a key raw material required in the built environment as a powerful bonding agent to other aggregates used in block making and construction industry. Hence, a sustainable supply at a pocket-friendly price in the market for sundry end users is not just an assurance, but the much-needed and desired wholesome practices in the construction sector. But it is also an antidote to construction failures and building collapses, as people tend to cut corners for profit and sustainability when prices of cement are very high. And that is dangerous. We are one of the key end users with a national network, no doubt. The attraction of NABMON to this forum, therefore, as follows. One, to see the outcome of researchers, the researches of our professionals, engineers, doctors, professors here gathered last year in preferring solutions to the same issue of innovations in cement and concrete productions, using alternative homegrown materials that will make quality cement available at affordable prices, and see which way forward from last year's conference findings and what implementation steps so far. We also took interest because innovation is the mother of new products with competitive prices, and as such, we expect new products to be one of the many happy returns of this August Assembly. Thirdly, NABMON is a growing national body made up of individuals and corporate block molders in Nigeria. We envisaged that by our attendance, we will also enjoy insights into international contemporary production standards and practices and their comparative prices too, perhaps during interactive sessions. My current leadership of the association is poised at all times to be available for education, exposure, and collaboration with all relevant stakeholders globally on the implementation of any evolutionary trend, so as to offer our wide platform for practicals to these theories on the field, and be able to add values and offer useful advice. It is on this note that I would like to wish all delegates to this international conference, the second edition, a fruitful deliberation and a nice brief stay at LAUTECH, Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria. Thank you.
We thank you so much for promising to collaborate. May the good Lord help you. The next speaker is not available. He hasn't come. But I would like to seize this opportunity to make brief introductions. One, I would like to recognize the presence of Professor Yinka Oladeji. Please be upstanding for recognition. Even though he wants to support, he remains one of us. I also want to recognize the presence of Professor Mrs. Tino Ade Afolabi. You are welcome. She's chairing one of the sessions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when you see the leader of the CEMCON, the Cement Concrete Research Group of LAUTECH, you see he's looking so radiant. He woke up on the very good side. And the engineer is here. I want to recognize a distinguished Deputy Director of Audit, Dr. Mrs. So you read well, ma. Dr. Badrat Kende Rahim. Please be upstanding for recognition. That is the wife. Thank you so much for lending a helping hand. Mr. Chairman, members of the high table, it is time to listen to the welcome address of the Vice Chancellor of the LAUTECH Akintola University of Technology, ably represented by the Chairman of Committee of Provost and Dean, Professor Tunde Ogunpole, who would also declare this conference open. Professor.
The University Registrar, the Bossa, the University Librarian, other members of the high table, provosts and deans of faculty, the chairman of this conference, all other guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here this morning to stand in for the acting Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Razak Olatunde Romkalilu. And I will read through his opening remarks. So where I mention I, you will quite agree with me that it is not me that is standing before you, that is the I, but the acting Vice Chancellor. I welcome you heartily to the LAUTECH Akintola University of Technology, the host of the second International Conference on Advances in Cement and Concrete Research 2023. The conference is jointly organized by the Cement and Concrete Research Group, CEMCON, of this great university, and the Sustainable Green Concrete Research Group, SGCRG, of the University of South Africa. The theme of this year's conference, Innovation in Cement and Concrete Productions for Sustainable Development, is apt in view of the depletion of natural resources and control of greenhouse gas emission associated with conventional cement and concrete materials in our country. Beyond this, concrete is the most used construction material throughout the world. There has been increasing use of concrete in construction industries worldwide due to its excellent mechanical properties. As a result of the high demand for concrete, the main ingredients, namely cement and aggregates, are becoming very expensive to procure. Thus, any research that investigates partial or total replacement of cement in concrete is a very welcome development. It is noteworthy that this is the concern of CEMCON Research Group, which was officially inaugurated in the year 2021. The supplementary cementitious materials, SCMC, that have been studied are corn cob ash, rice husk ash, wood ash, neem seed husk ash, and metakaolin. Efforts are on to use these
supplementary cementitious materials in large quantities and engage in factory production of blended cement. Recently, members of this research group won a TED Fund and NRF grant award and the award is worth 18 million naira last year for the development of metakaolin blended cement. The research is steadily progressing as I'm speaking with you, and it is hoped that positive results will be realized. It is our hope that soon, and very soon, this university will become a center of excellence in cement and concrete research. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm wishing you successful deliberation, I hereby, on behalf of the acting Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Rom Kalilu, declare this year's conference open. Thank you.
We thank you, representative of the acting Vice Chancellor. May the Lord continue to bless the works of your hand. For a vote of thanks, it is my pleasure to invite to the podium Conference Secretary, Dr. Johnson Oluremi.
The acting Vice Chancellor, sir, the registrar of the university, other members of the management of the university, distinguished professors here present, the deans that are here present, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Cement and Concrete Research Group and the local organizing committee of this conference, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude to Almighty God for the success of this second international conference on cement and concrete research. We want to express our gratitude to the acting Vice Chancellor, Professor R.M. Kalilu, ably represented by Professor T.J. Ogunkunle. We scheme the university management for the enabling environment that has been provided for us to organize this conference as it is happening. We actually appreciate all our distinguished guests of honor that are here present. We appreciate the presence of Builder Honorable Bimbo Kolade. We also appreciate the presence of Prince Segubanjoko, who came right away from Lagos because of this conference. We appreciate all our reviewers who has given their time and their expertise to review the papers submitted for this conference for us. We appreciate all our participants that are here present and who are also watching us globally as well. Without you, we believe that this conference wouldn't have been in existence. We want to appreciate all the CEMCON families who have supported us, and they have given us the environment that we have today as organizer of this conference to be able to make it possible for us. We want to appreciate all our students who are here present. We believe that at the end of this conference, all of us will have gained one thing or the other as a result of impactful deliberation that we are going to have today. I wish all of us an impactful deliberation and conference. Thank you so much for coming, and I wish you safe journey by the time when you are returning back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for thanking us. We started with prayer when we're going to start, and it is right and apt that we thank God for seeing us through. If you agree with me, may I call on Professor Samson Ojuawu, FNSC, to give us the closing prayer.
Thank you. Shall we pray? Our Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this hour. We appreciate you for the success of this opening ceremony. Thank you for bringing all our guests down here safely. Thank you for making the university to be at peace. Thank you for the leadership of the university management. Thank you for the peaceful atmosphere. And thank you for the success of this session. Father, be exalted in the name of Jesus. We commit the rest program that we'll be having in this conference to your hands. Everlasting Father, we pray that you take control. For the conference organizers and all those who are participants, we pray, oh God, that you grant them the enablement even to complete all these activities successfully in the name of Jesus. As we be going back to our respective places, Father, be with us. The other activities here, Lord, take perfect charge. At the end of this conference, let's have the full cause to glorify your holy name. Continue to be with CEMCON group and let LAUTECH continue to soar higher. Thank you for listening to this prayer. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
And so before we go to take our anthems again, please note that we'll take photographs here. The first one will be principal officers of LAUTECH, members of the high table and organizers of this conference. Secondly, we will have all professors, academic staff, administrators, auditors, and every other person. But at this point, like I implored you before we started, let us rise to take first LAUTECH anthem, or your state anthem, and the national anthem.
Protocol, and we are now going to start the keynote address. And in order to go ahead with the conference, I want to call Professor Mrs. Olaoye to give the citation of the presenter, Dr. Jubril. Am I right, sir? I'm very sorry, please. Engineer Professor Samson Duna, ably represented by you, by Dr. Jubril. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the chairman. Thank you once again, the chairman and everyone present here. I want to read a citation of Engineer Professor Samson Duna. I will like Engineer Jubril to stand on his behalf while I read his citation. Citation of Engineer Professor Samson Duna, a registered member of COREN, Fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineer, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And of course, he has some other affiliations that I will read while I read his citation. Engineer Professor Samson Duna is an erudite professor of civil engineering and the current Director General, stroke Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NBRRI, a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation. He began his educational career in 1974. He attended the following institutions and obtained the following qualifications. 1, Ekan Primary School, Oshe, Jos, Plateau State. Primary School Living Certificate, Government Secondary School, Toro, Bauchi State. General Certificate of Education, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Bachelor of Engineering, that is B Engine Honors, in Civil Engineering at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Master of Science, MSc Civil Engineering at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. And finally, he obtained his Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in Civil Engineering with specialty in structures. His working experience. His working career started at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi as graduate assistant in Civil Engineering Department, where he rose to the rank of Professor of Civil Engineering with specialty in structures. Engineer Professor Samson Duna is a Korean registered engineer. He's also a member of the following professional bodies: Nigeria Institute of Engineering Management, Fellow, Nigeria Institution of Civil Engineers, Fellow, Nigerian Association of Engineering, Geology and the Environment, Fellow, Academy of Natural Science and Engineering in Nigeria, Fellow, Nigeria Institution of Highways and Transportation Engineers, Fellow, National Labor Institute, Fellow, Nigerian Society of Engineers. He is a fellow of so many professional bodies. Please, let's give him a round of applause once again. He is also a council member of Standard Organization of Nigeria and a member of Industrial Stroke Sectorial Board for the Regional Transport Research and Education Center, Kumasi in Ghana. Engineer Professor Samson Duna has to his credit over 80 research publications. Please, let's give him a round of applause. In local and international journals, as well as technical reports, workshops, and conferences. He has attended and delivered numerous research papers at technical workshops, seminars, and conferences, both within and outside the country. He has supervised over 200 undergraduates and graduate students, comprising postgraduate diplomas and Doctor of Philosophy. He taught in the university for over 26 years before moving to Nigeria Building Institute, NBRRI. Engineer Professor Samson Duna joined NBRRI as Director of Research, and at the expiration of his tenureship of then Director General stroke CEO, he was appointed the Acting Director General stroke CEO, a position he held till 3rd of December 2020, when he was confirmed as the Substantive Director General stroke Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NBRRI, by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Engineer Professor Samson Duna designed, supervised, and was involved in the construction of various types of infrastructure spreading all over the country. He is a recipient of many awards and professional bodies, non-governmental organizations, youth organizations, and religious bodies. Engineer Professor Samson's hobbies include investigative engineering research, watching football. He is a big fan of Liverpool, interacting with the youth, with emphasis on the boys' brigade. He also enjoys assisting the less privileged community development through communal efforts. Engineer Professor Samson Duna is happily married to Dr. Mrs. Agatha Samson Duna, and the marriage is blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the audience now, representative of Engineer Professor Samson Duna, in person of Engineer Dr. Jubril. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The citation is all right. And before I start, I think Professor Samson Duna was my lecturer at the university. So he taught me too. So I'm a student at undergraduate. So he's my lecturer. So will happen again back. And I said, a time without number, whatever we're doing in life, always thinking of the future, you never can tell. In 1999, yes, 1999, that was my final year then. I was undergraduate. I left him. I never knew he would come back again and meet in Newbury. So I went and I came back same year. Unfortunately for us, our former DG was both of us our lecturer too again. So the thing just, so if you prepare your life in a good way, certainly you certainly get a good way in life. So having said that, he wanted to have been here personally, but because of one way and the other, he couldn't make it. As I speak at the moment, in fact, he's on his way to Italy. So he couldn't actually make it. So he said I should come and represent him. And I'll try as much as possible. Whatever I said here is Professor Samson Duna, not me. So you hold him responsible, not me at all. But I'll do the best I can to do justice to that. The slides, let me see the slides. You go to the first page there. I mean, the front page. Okay. So I don't know, you control it from there, right? You'll be controlling it from there. Okay, so just like I said, Nibri, he said I should come and represent him. And as a research institute, we always believe that we don't know anything at all, no matter what. So whatever we're doing, we'll try as much as possible to put it to the basis. So we'll assuming, in fact, in this lecture today, people were like cement, concrete, cement, concrete. So we would like to tell people, we assume we don't know what is cement, what is concrete. So we have to bring it to the lowest minimum so that people understand that exactly this is what cement is all about. If you are talking of cement, somebody may be thinking, oh, we all know cement now. But if you do not explain it in detail, some people may think as if maybe it's a clay that you just sieve it and make it the other way around. So we always, in fact, we place emphasis on giving a kind of a credibility to what is properly to be, or what is supposed to be done. So we start by saying, what is cement? Because we talk of cement, we talk of concrete. And because we use them often, people tend to confuse them together. But all what we believe is that cement is different from concrete. They are not the same. Cement is different from concrete. So this lecture will just give you briefly, which in detail, we will try as much as possible. By the time we're making the publications, we'll give you detail of it. But here we'll just introduce it, just to ensure that we are carry alone. Everybody is carry alone. So this is the outline of the presentations. We all said cement. Most of the time, we find out that cement, we always call them, because we use them often, so we felt that they're all the same, but they are not the same at all. Cement, conventional cement, is just made up from limestones and clay. That's what what they call it, the cement is all about. Cement is a strong binder. It's a very strong binder. Without the cement, I don't think the concrete will exist. So cement, we use it mostly because we find out that without the cement, we cannot have what we call the concrete. And they are made from what? From limestones and clay. And apart from the limestones and clay, cement is also made from other materials, which on themselves may not actually exist, but I mean, may not actually work as a cement. That's what we call the pozzolana, but as we move along, we'll be able to see detail about it. We have different types of cement. But the most common one at the moment, as we speak at the moment, is the ordinary pozzolana cement, which is the commonest available cement we have that we use in our constructions every day. So it's a very good material in terms of constructions. And because of the advancement in research and development, in the later on, you will see that we find a number of material that are used to supplement what we call our cement. But as we in the due course, we'll be able to understand exactly what I'm trying to say. On the other hand, concrete is a finished product, the result from mixing the sand, your water, your admixture, and cement. So all these ones come together, you have what they call your concrete. So invariably, what I'm trying to say next is that the cement is different from concrete. But like in engineering or like in mathematics, we call some things, we say something is offset. We can rather say it's a concrete, I mean rather a cement is rather a subset of concrete, because without cement, the concrete will not exist. And the mixtures of all these things, you need to have them in a wet situation, in a wet state. It's only when you have them in the wet state that we can have what we call the concrete, because the concrete, if you mix them in a wet state, gradually it will now solidify. By the time it's solidified, then it gains strength as we move along. So we have some of the ingredients that makes us what we have the concrete. The concrete is made up of the water, as I said initially. It's made of the cement. It's made up of the fine aggregate and the coarse aggregate, as the case may be, and the admixture as well. So we'll have all these things. The combinations of all these ones will have what we call concrete. Without the concrete, we know. So we give more paramount importance to what we call the Portland cement, which is the common one we use. But because of research and development, we find out that we have a lot of material that can be used in form of a cement. So this is that is cement, and that is the finished concrete structure. So when you mix them together, you have what we call the concrete, you have what we call the cement. So invariably, we are saying the cement is different from concrete. We cannot join them together, but people will still look at them and say they are all the same, but they are not the same at all. So we have, the importance of this cement to our construction industries, because we know that the concrete has a lot of great reputations in terms of it lasts for a number of years. So this concrete, because it has that potentiality of lasting a long period of time, we use them in our constructions. And cement being very suitable, because that is the only way you can also differentiate between the concrete and the cement. Cement, you find out that they are very good in small jobs, but concrete can be used in both large and small jobs. Concrete, again, is one of the products that can last a longer period of time. The buildings today, in fact, the building is still standing for over 200 years because of the presence of the concrete. We use concrete in so many applications. Concrete, because of the inherent benefit that we have in concrete, we use it in our construction industries. I'm saying this just to give us an emphasis, because our emphasis on this lecture is the advances on our cement and concrete. I'm just giving this one just a preamble to ensure that we have an idea on what actually the concrete and cement is all about. They are all important in terms of constructions, and because we have a lot of materials, this building as we are standing is a matter of the cement and the structures. And cement and concrete, in time without number, we always attribute them in terms of a failure in terms of our structures. But I want to assure you, like I don't put it in this presentation, but in our research, we find out that cement, because before you think of advancement in your research and your cement and concrete, you need to know, was there any problems in our present cement and concrete? So NIBRI as it is, though I don't put it in the presentation as I speak, NIBRI have conducted research in a number of cement that we use in this country. We use about 8 brands of cement in Nigeria, but we found out that only few types of this cement that actually pass out. I mean, they get to the standard. The few ones that we are selling in the market are not up to standard. So there's need for us to ensure that whatever type of cement we are using, we'll have at least have an idea that this type of cement meet up the standard. Otherwise, you are bound to have a failure. So we have a different type of cement in the market. So if have a problems in our constructors, we find out that some of the common problems we have in terms of our concrete is the cost of repairing them. If our structure failed, how do you repair them? The cost of repairing them is very much. So we try as much as possible to ensure that we do not have a failure in our structures. And to do that is to ensure that our cement, our reinforcement are in proper shape. Otherwise, you'll have a problem. So we try as much as possible to ensure that most of the failures in our concrete and the cement, we should not have them, because if you have them, you are about to have a failure. Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute has been involved in so many activities in terms of building collapse. So we found out that in most of the issues, your reinforcement have been corrupt, have been eroded. So once your reinforcement is eroded, you should expect a failure. And what is actually causing this one is some of the attack, generally the corrosion of the steel. You also, once your steel is corroded, the concrete may not actually withhold the strength of that building any longer. So you certainly have a failure. So NIBRI has tried as much as possible to ensure that it has conducted research in terms of the corrosions of the steels. So these are some of the failures that will occur in terms of maybe either reinforcement or your concrete. The first one you are seeing there by your right, by the left-hand side, is a failure that occurred in Jos. And the investigation showed that most of the material used are not actually improper. In fact, they are not up to standard. And almost all of them, because a causes of failure, one cannot just stand and say a causes of failure is just one factor. It's a combination of factors that lead to that failure. But if one factor is not in order, you find out that the other factors may not withstand the test of time. So you expect a failure. So the essence of this presentation is to ensure that we try as much as possible to ensure because we all know that productions of cement create what we call the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, which we are trying to run away from. So we try as much as possible to ensure that we shift away from the productions of the carbon dioxide. And that is why the advancements of cement and concrete come into play. All these ones I've said is just for us to give us a background. We all have an idea on what to do, but just to have a background on what actually we wanted to present properly. Naturally, we have the materials. We have material that can be used as an alternative to cement and concrete, and that is the essence of these presentations. A number of work has been done, a lot of research has been carried out to ensure that we have a effect, just the way the strength and durability that concrete and cement carry, if other factors can have the same factors, so that we can use them to avoid issue of our what they call it, the climatic change. So if we can try to use other alternative materials that can help us, it will also go a long way to reduce the cost of our cement. And all this one, the cost of cement is going high every day because we don't have alternative. Like my DG keeps saying, time without number. If you have an alternative to cement, just like Maggi, if you go to market, if RECO is very high, you can go to Star. But cement doesn't have an alternative at all. So we try as much as possible to ensure that we have an alternative to cement. And once we have alternative to cement, we certainly will know that the cost of cement will also come down. And once the cost of cement comes down, the cost of concrete comes down. And the essence of this presentation today is to ensure that all we are geared towards what? Reducing the cost, because the cost is going high every day. And what is causing that is our building construction materials, which cement and concrete is one of them. These are some of the things we felt that there are some of the optional that we can use to ensure that we reduced the cost of cement. if we're able to use these materials, the ash crate, if we're able to use it, we'll replace it to about 95% constituent in the recycled materials. If you can have this kind of things, you find out that we'll reduce the cost of the cement. And once we can, our ideas now will get towards the ash crate to give us the best result at the end, as long as they can give us the strength that is required. The ash crate, we all know it has a wide applications, and this, it's a byproduct from the coal power stations. It's a byproduct. Once we combine them together, we're able to get something like cement materials, so that we can at least produce something like cement that can withstand the test of time. Recycled plastics, if we can adopt plastic materials in most of our activities, then it will help us. Because if, for example, now we find out that this building can be used with plastic, then no need of going to cement and concrete. Then if there's no need of going to cement and concrete, we'll have an advantage that, okay, well, we'll have an alternative. But the cost of cement and concrete is going high every day because no alternative, nothing to say about them. So we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we have a recycled plastic that we can use to build our houses and other activities. These are typical examples. I pick them up. If we can use them, that is a plastic house. I just pick them to ensure that we can use plastic to reduce the cost of our cement and concrete. So if we can adopt these materials to build our houses, we find out that the cost of our productions, the cost of cement and concrete will certainly come down. And that is the essence of our presentations today. All we get to also reducing the cost. In NIBRI, because this is where we're up to at the moment, NIBRI tries as much as possible to ensure that we reduce the cost of cement. And we produce what we call the pozzolana, NIBRI pozzolana. And this pozzolana, as we said, it's a cementitious properties, but it on its own cannot actually replace cement. But with a certain percentage, maybe where you tend to maybe use a bag of 100 bags of cement, possibly if you can use the cementitious properties produced by NIBRI, we call them NIBRI pozzolana, in the way you are supposed to use maybe 100 bags of cement, and you can easily use maybe 70 bags of cement to 30 bags of pozzolana, depending on the material or structures you wanted to use. In fact, we established that because we have a plant in Bokos and one in Jos, which will produce the pozzolana materials. So it helps us to reduce, if we can adopt this material, our cost of housing will actually reduce. This is typical examples of what we have. This is what we have in Ota, and a typical one also in Bokos in Plateau State. That bag you are seeing is our bag calcinized clay pozzolana. We have it at the moment. Anytime you need them, you substitute them. Because like I said, you don't use them. Ordinarily, say, okay, I'm using it to replace my cement. No, it's not possible. You use them a certain percentage with the cement. Once they meet with each other, you find out that you have a very good properties and you can produce your structures as it is. One of the products, again, in attempt to reduce our cement and concrete, we use what we call the NIBRI bricks. This NIBRI bricks, this structure you are seeing, we use the pozzolana as part of it, and we use a certain percentage of cement to it. So this block you are seeing is interlocking. You just interlock them. The structure you are seeing there, they just interlock themselves. You don't use mortar to it at all. But the reinforcement, the columns are stand as it is. You can use your concrete or any other things to use it as your column. But the walling activities, you can use our blocks. It helps you to reduce the cost, because if you use it, you are not going to use the concrete blocks, which will cost you much money. You are not going to use mortar to place them. You can just use them and just interlock them. And one of the good things about it is that the way we interlock them, which you see in the next slide, you can transport them to another place. In case maybe you don't have a house, or maybe you have a place, you can use our block, put them together. Anytime you don't need the blocks again, you don't want to leave that place, you can remove your blocks, transfer them to another place, and still use them at the same time. It reduces your cost, and that is the essence of it. All these blocks you are seeing is we use our cement. We use 5% to 10%, depending on the characteristics of the laterite you're using. Because the NIBRI will try as much as possible to show that we test that characteristic, the laterite, not any laterite is used to ensure that, okay, you are going to use it, you are going to use 5% or 10%. No. We have a way of testing the laterite first. And then if you take the lateral, it tells you the amount of percentage that you are going to add. In some certain cases, you have 5%, some cases 10%, but we don't go beyond 10% additions of cement. So we use the pozzolana and the cement to apply to our blocks, then produce the blocks, and they are interlocking. You take them to anywhere you wanted to go, anytime you find out that you are tired of living in that place. All these ones are what we show. In fact, we won a prize on this one because we presented during the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology Expo. All these blocks are seen is what we produce in Nipri. We put them together. All the idea is what? To reduce the cost. And if we can adopt this technology, then the cost of cement, because cement are thinking that no alternative. Without you, anywhere you go, you must come back to us. But once you have an alternative to cement, you certainly use, and the price of cement will certainly come down. Yeah, having said that, I try as much as possible to ensure that the advancement in the cement and concrete will try to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions. We identify the new agent that at least can be used to ensure that we produce a very good concrete alternative to the strength of the concrete. And once we're able to adopt that, a number of researches have gone to ensure that we reduce an attempt to use cement all the time. We have a lot of researches which I've enumerated them there. A number of them try as much as possible to ensure that, okay, well, you don't use cement again, or if you use this type of material, you can achieve the same result. And once you use that kind of material and achieve the same result, then no need of you going to cement and concrete again. It reduces your price. It reduces the cost implications of what you're doing. So a number of researches I've carried out, which they all have stated them there, and maybe in the full presentation, the full paper, I'll give detail about them. These are all materials. The research people, a lot of research have been carried out, which I've stated out clearly there. A number of researchers have done that. And that's the essence of all coming in together. Researches is not a one-man business. Everybody brings his own idea. Once you bring your idea, we type them together, then we analyze the ideas. If it is good to go, we'll use it together. If it's not good, we'll drop it and add another value to it. So a lot of researches have been carried out in terms of cement and concrete. This is also a new way, because in fact, basically what I did was to just classify issue of cement into hydraulic cement and non-hydraulic cement. The hydraulic cement is mostly, we use our ordinary Portland cement. We classify them into that category. Our Portland Pozzolana cement, we categorize them in terms of non-hydraulic cement. All these ones, I put them in details in our full paper. We also have a cementitious supplementary cementing material, which is also very, very much important. It's what most of us have been known about it for a very long time, but I try as much as possible to ensure that I enumerate them, we use them, and I'm very sure the fly ash, the slag cement, the silicon fumes, all of them have been effective, and I'm very sure that a lot of us have been trying to use them, and gradually the improvement comes. As research goes on, we'll get a lot of improvement as we move. Yeah, so like I said initially, just to conclude, a lot of effort has been done. Our pozzolana, if we're able to adopt that materials, I think it will reduce the cost of our cement, and people going towards cement and concrete. If we can adopt that kind of things, I think it will also help us. And research has been going on in terms of reducing reduce the emissions of our carbon dioxide. Once we're able to reduce that, I think the sky is our limit. But a lot of things, a lot of work need to be done. Future directions is for us to ensure that we'll have more research. More research every day. Research goes every day, every second. In as much as we can have more research, we'll get more results at the end of the day, and the society will remain better for each and every of us. But how can we do that? We can only do that when we have the funding. If the federal government can help to increase the funding of research and development, I think it will help us in doing all activities. Some of these are some of the relevant research references that maybe if you can go through, you get them through, and it will help you all through. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a brief but detailed presentation. I will want to give the rapporteurs opportunity to give us a summary of what he has said. So let me start with Dr. Lani.
The chairman of the occasion of the session, other protocols duly and well observed. Yeah.
While they are doing the rapporteur, come and sit down, sir. When it's time for question, you will go back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've just listened to the presentation by Professor Samson Duna. Yeah, who is represented here by Dr. Jibril, Dr. Engineer Jibril. Yeah, the whole essence of the presentation has been directed at the focus of this conference, which is innovations in cement and concrete production for sustainable development. So when we talk about sustainable development, in this case, as rightly put across, is how we can advance cement and concrete production in such a way that we can limit the carbon emissions to the atmosphere in a way that we can have sustainable materials. And in doing this, the presenter was able to take us through the component part of cement and concrete. Cement is being, we are being told it's a subset of concrete because we have cement, fine, quartz, aggregate, as well as water. But in doing that, he was able to take us through the usefulness of these materials in construction work with a particular focus on advancements in the materials. Advancement in such a way that we may not be able to replace the material, but because concrete is known for carbon emissions because of its production, because of its usage. So the advancement in this sense, according to the speaker, is how we can limit carbon emissions, into the atmosphere. And in doing that, and at the same time, we are looking at how we can reduce the costs. So to go about that, we were taking through various alternatives that are being proposed, and we could see some demonstrations from NIBRI, as an institution, as an agency, as an organ of the government. And so some of the alternatives through which we can achieve this reduction in the emission, reduction in the cost of production, a number of alternatives have been given to us, especially the experience from NIBRI as an institution. So we have essentially 4 of them. We were taken through ashcrete, which is a byproduct from a coal station. We can see the integration within cement components in a way that a percentage of it can be reduced. And in the process, we are reducing the emissions to the atmosphere. Also, he was able to take us through recycled plastic as an alternative. We were taken through NIBRI Pozzolana, and a particular building whereby has been demonstrated in Jos. We were shown to us over there. And at the same time, one interesting other replacement for concrete in form of the advancement we are talking about is what is called NIBRI bricks from NIBRI. And in that case, this NIBRI bricks, with that one, is so interesting, according to the presenter, that the house constructed with it is movable. You can actually dismantle the building and take it to wherever you are going. And one other good thing about it is that in the course of construction, you don't need any mortar, you don't need any concrete block. So this is a significant step towards reduction of carbon emissions. So there are some of this effort from NIBRI, you know, with the focus of, with the aim of advancing cement and concrete, particularly for sustainable development. Because one of the goals, SDG 30, that's Sustainable Development Goals 2030, is how we address climate change. Energy is one of them. You have 17 goals there. Agenda 13 is talking about action on climate change. This is part of the main focus of this conference. So when we talk about advancement, in this regard, in this context, we are looking at how we can reduce the amount of cement that we use in a way that we can have a direct effect on the emissions we send to the atmosphere. The presenter was able to conclude by saying that at the moment, there is no complete alternative for cement or concrete. But what we can do at the moment is to reduce the amount, the quantity. Then again, future work, research work is still ongoing to ensure that we can take further steps to reduce the amount of replacement. And in conclusion, the presenter emphasized the need for more government intervention in terms of funding so that our frontiers of knowledge can be taken to the next level. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lanio. You can see that he has a background on knowledge of what the presenter came to talk about, and he has added his own input, how important it is to get a sustainable development going. So I will give it to the second rapporteur to give us her own summary of what we have just heard. Thank you. Professor Olaoye, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Still on the existing protocol, let me just, in addition to what the first rapporteur has been able to summarize, for those that are not familiar with concrete and cement, the presenter started by telling us the difference between cement and concrete, that they are actually two different materials with different property and uses. Of course, he told us that cement is made from limestone and clay and other materials, and they are majorly used as a binding material for concrete. He told us we have different types of cement, but of course, the primary cement that we make use of is the OPC, that is the ordinary Portland cement. He also differentiated concrete, and he told us that concrete is made of aggregates, cement, and water. The aggregate, the coarse aggregates, and the fine aggregates with cement and water. And it could also be with addition of admixtures. And of course, he told us that these are used for construction, infrastructural structures. One interesting thing I picked from his lecture is that NIBRI has been able to conduct tests on 80 types of cement, and that only few have the required strength. And that should be of interest to us as civil engineers, and those that are not even civil engineers, So if you want to build, you should know the type of cement that have the required strength for what you want to construct. What are the common problems with concrete? It mentioned a lot, but I only picked few here. One, cost of repair or replacement, corrosion of steel in concrete, which oftentimes leads to collapse of building. Then he gave us recent solutions to some of these problems. One, the use of alternative materials or innovative materials that can bring forth new design to improve concrete performance. He also talked about use of tin mining ores that can also be added to concrete to improve concrete performance. Then he mentioned optional materials that can be used or added to concrete. One, he talked about ashcrete. Despite it being a byproduct, it can also be used in addition to concrete production. He also mentioned recycled plastic, and we could see a building almost made completely from recycled plastic. He mentioned 4 products from Nibri, which are of utmost importance too. Pozzolan, addition to concrete to also improve its performance. They have also been able to produce bricks, interlocking bricks of optimum performance. Of most interesting one is the movable housing innovation. I think we can embrace that as an institution where we have dismantleable blocks. We can move from anywhere, from Ogbomoso. I can move my building to Ibadan. I think that has not gone far. And I think it should be of interest to us because it's of interest to me. I've been watching it on the screen, but have not seen it. So it's of interest that we can also pay attention to. He also talked about advances in concrete and cement, reduction of CO2 emissions, new materials to enhance durability, and ultra-high performance to also enhance concrete durability. He spoke about new cement classification, majorly 2 classification, hydraulic and non-hydraulic. And then he also spoke about supplementary material for concrete, fly ash, silicon foam, slag, and the rest of them. In conclusion, he concluded that a lot of these have been produced and in 2 major places, in Bokos and in Jos. And the aspect of funding was also emphasized. For us to have advances in cement and concrete, there is need for funding, especially from the government. Thank you as we proceed on the conference.
Thank you very much, Professor Olaoye. They have both done justice to the presentation. It's now over to every one of us. If you have contributions or questions to ask the presenter, we will take as many as possible. Kindly raise up your hand so I can give you numbers. Okay, Professor Oladeji, you'll be the first person. Then, I don't know your name, but when you come, you mention your name. Any other person, please? Apart from the other 2, you can even give comments. Okay, let's start with the first 2. Professor Oladeji, please. Can we have another mic? So it can circulate over there. have this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Olayinka Oladeji. I have two questions which I quickly ask. The first one is this. While the presenter was making his presentation and also the rapporteur was also making the comments, there was something that came up, and that is the fact that cement in the market, several cement in the market do not meet the standards. For some of us who are not engineers, I'm an hydrogeologist, by the way, that statement is very scary. And I want to find out what efforts or how did we arrive at this position? Are there no regulatory bodies to ensure that the standard of the cement reaching the market are standardized? What efforts are the professional bodies and the experts making to ensure that this is streamlined? Because for us, it's very scary, like I said. And thinking about mitigating measures, but I want to know what measures are the regulatory body and who is the regulatory body to ensure that this does not happen? That's my first question. The second question is this. I'm aware that there are lots of knowledge regarding partial replacement, especially at the point of civil engineering in LAUTECH here. There have been a lot of work in terms of knowledge, theoretical knowledge, regarding partial replacement of the constraint of cement. I want to find out, because you are more of the government than of the academician, is the government aware of this knowledge in the university? And how can this knowledge be transformed such that we have a final direct use of materials where we have efficient replacement that will also tend to, like you have emphasized, reduce the cost of cement? Thank you, sir.
Should I respond to it immediately? Okay, you talk of the standard because in my presentations, I made mention that we try to find out issue of the standard of whether the cement. In fact, what we did was we tried to establish the fact that we get to the market, take different brand of cement, we find out that only one of them meet up the standard. And the issue is that both of us, just like you say you are scared, we're also scared about it. One of the things, the problem we have in government at the moment is that our law does not enforce us to ensure that, okay, well, our own is just to give a report. This is what we found. And it's left for the government to do the needful. So we've given the report. As I speak with you, we're giving the report to the government. It's left for them to do the needful. Let me go beyond that. We have, in fact, most of our bridges as we cross, because just like our name implies, we don't only deal with cement or rather building, we also deal with bridges. We have a lot of our bridges are being in a state of distress. One of the typical bridge that we found out is around the Kano site. As I speak with you, because as of that time, if you go, the piles are all outside. In fact, you can measure your site, your distance, all the piles are outside, you know. But if you are climbing on top, you don't know what is happening on the ground. But because people are crying, just like the way we are crying about cement and concrete at the moment, also the researchers have found that that bridge is not in order. We also wrote a report, but to God be the glory, as I speak with you at the moment, it's been taken care of. So if you go to that building now at the moment, it's not actually in that state of distress at the moment. So our responsibility, like I said, we try to investigate. If any failure that happens, even in our building collapses, and a lot of reports we've been given, but we do not have power to enforce. We don't have power to prosecute anybody. But anything we find out, we report to them that, okay, this is what we found. Our present DG is trying to make effort to ensure that let the National Assembly make a law to give us that power, that if you find any faulty in terms of failure of anything, let us prosecute the person. I think to the best of my knowledge, the thing has passed the first reading, so to say, in the National Assembly. We're hoping that if it gives us, give us a promise something, then we'll be able to have the power to prosecute anybody, even like this mentor are talking about. If we have the power, we can go ahead, straight ahead and say, well, this is what it is, and punish the person and the thing will not repeat itself. Issue of replacement of cement. Yes, the same presentations are made somewhere, and the minister was trying to be interested in it. As I speak with you, they said I should send a memo to tell them how far, what we've done about, especially those blocks I've shown you, so that they can enforce, to tell people that, okay, they can pass it into law. All the secondary schools, maybe in Nigeria or primary school in Nigeria, that let them be using it. And if people now can be using that kind of blocks, we find out that the emphasis on cement may reduce. So it's one of the efforts we've been doing. At the moment, like I said, we don't have much power to say anything, but our own is to find the research to say, okay, this is what is actually happening. We give the report as the case may be. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir, for the elaboration you gave us on most of the things that they're really, really enlightening, especially for someone that comes from a background of that is not in the construction. So it was really enlightening. So okay, sorry. So my name is Bulde Temindire Emmanuel. I'm a student in LAUTECH from the Department of Agricultural Economics. So please indulge my questions, as I'm just a student. You're not as informed as he is, so please just indulge my questions. So I have a few questions here, sir. If you. The first question, sir. You said Proslana, sir. Does okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Come closer here. Oh, okay. So you talked about Proslana, sir. Okay. First of all, it's really, really interesting, and that's what we expected from our research institute as a country. Thank you, sir. And this Proslana that you talked about, would the people that want to use it, would they need specialized training for it, or would you just mix it like you do a normal cement? Because although we have builders and engineers in our construction industry, right? Most people that are constructing, not in the industry itself, but are constructing, are semi-knowledgeable or totally informally educated people, right? People that did not go to universities, or most of them, their education ended at secondary school, right? So would this Proslana, will it need specialized training to be able to use, or will it be able to be used by such people? The second one, talk about ash breeds. So in Nigeria currently, our energy is 90% natural gas, meaning that although we have abundant reserves of coal, we are not using them to generate energy. So if we are not using it, there's little area to waste it in. And if we integrate it into our concrete mix, right? If we integrate that into our concrete mix and it takes off, Nigerians look at it that, wow, this is actually a very good material and it takes off. Would there not be a bottleneck or a constraint on the concrete industry that to bring in that ash breed, because we can't produce it locally? We can't produce it locally. So would there be a constraint or a bottleneck because of the ash breed that we can't produce locally? And And the last question that I have, some other research institutes, and make sure you work in close tandem with them internationally, have identified that you can use something like seawater and volcanic ash you mentioned earlier. Seawater and volcanic ash can increase the durability and the strength of cement by up to 15 to 25%. That's what the Romans used back in the days. That's why some of their constructions are still visible till today. So has there been any research personally from the institute conducted on such materials? Volcanic ash, you talked about volcanic ash, I know about that, but seawater, how true is that? And has any research been conducted in such an area, sir? Thank you.
For first to talk of the Pozzolana, whether because people in the mostly in the construction industry, most of them are semi, let me put it that way, semi-skilled, so to put it. How are they going to mix them up? If you are able to produce the Pozzolana, we at NIPRI, what we do is that we have a skill acquisition programs, which for anybody to produce it, we'll be able to train you to tell you this, how you are going to mix them up. Once it's produced, then we'll be able to see you. It's not just, you don't just mix it or pick it up and say, okay, I'm going to mix them up without being trained or without knowing the usefulness of it. Because it depends on the structural element or maybe the what you wanted to use, the type of strength of the material you wanted to use. In some cases, you may not even use the Pozzolana because the Pozzolana maybe may not give you the strength that is required. So you need to test to know, okay, this is the kind of strength I'm looking for. Then the percentage at which you use the Pozzolana will be given to you based on our skilled people, which who they use, they get used to it. They will tell you, this is the kind of Pozzolana you are trying to use, or this is a kind of percentage of Pozzolana you are supposed to use. So we have a skill acquisition program that can train that one. You can get anytime T or any other person that maybe is interested. Things are now common. You can go online. You can get in touch with us. We'll be able to tell you, maybe even if you are not in Abuja, we have our office here in Wata, go to Bokos. You can just communicate. They will be able to tell you. The training must not necessarily, but we must see each other physically. We have an acquisition program that we can tell you online so that it can help each and every one of us. An issue of the aspect research you are talking about, we don't have problems of power. But research is not telling you to limit on just one aspect. The research tells you to go around. Wherever you have the availability of resources, then you can go in for it. You wouldn't say, oh, because I don't have resources or because you have a bottleneck here and there, you won't do research. No, you do the research. Research covers everything. Go everywhere. Or your own interest is this product I'm producing, is it going to be good or not? Is it going to be cost effective? There's a certain material that you may think as if they are cost effective, but by the time you want to utilize them, the cost is very high. So you withdraw back. So we have a problem of power and a lot of things here in Nigeria. You quote your code according to your size. Do research and do it and show that, okay, this one is okay. So that anytime they call you, you've tested it, and you know that this product is good. You tell them, it's left for them to take it or not. But make sure that as a research student, make sure you do the best. You produce what you want and give the result at the end of the day. That is what you're interested in. You're not interested in getting the cost. The cost is for people that want to utilize it and then ensure that, okay, they have the result for it. Issue of the volcanic ash you said, we have most of them in in Plateau State. We use them in our Pozzolana plant. So we use them plus clay like that. We mix them up to produce most of our Pozzolana. So it's very useful to us as far as we are concerned. We use them and it's promising. In fact, we put up a structures. I would have bring up a structure that we use Pozzolana to build. And the thing, in fact, as it is as a research institute, what we'll do is that whatever we test or whatever we observe, we'll put it in test. And as a research officer, as a research, you look at it, we'll make sure that we'll observe it over time. The building has been standing for the past 2 years now, and we don't see any. And what we did was to do it vis-a-vis the conventional blocks, so that we'll be monitoring the two. And for the past 2 years, it has not given us any problems, and want to monitor it over time to ensure that, okay, what we're producing give us the result at the end of the day. Thank you.
Hello. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank
Hello,
you.
good afternoon.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is
Good afternoon.
Rashid.
We are hearing you live and clear.
My name
Please
is
introduce
Rashid
yourself.
Abdulwahab. My name is Rashid Abdulwahab. And I want to appreciate the presenter for the presentation. But my question is this. I would like to ask, on how many occasions have they collected materials from the market to have affirmed that those cements tend to be below standard? And after then, what measures have they taken, since this is a national product, like the first person asked, what measures have they taken since they discovered those materials were substandard? And I also want to know on how many occasions have they sampled the material, because there could be human error. Probably when they went to the market, it was a wrong production. So I want to be very sure. I want to know the number of occasions that they have sampled material from the market to see they are below standard, and what measures were taken when such were observed. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. We try as much as possible. The research, we took the research in Abuja, but we also try as much as possible to go beyond Abuja to take the samples, because we went to different markets in Abuja where the building materials are being sold. And we also went to some market in Kano, because we wanted to take a stand. We don't want to limit ourselves to Abuja alone. And we found out that in fact, about 8 brands of cement that we utilize, only one of them which passed the standard. And what we actually did, like I've made mention of it before, we need to pass the information to the relevant authority, and it's left for the, in fact, the son, my DG is part of, I think is a member in the son. I told him that, sir, this is what we found. So he has taken it upon himself that he would direct the son to ensure that all these brands of cement that are not actually effective, because it's not within our reach to say this is what we found. I only just to give a report that this is what we've actually found, and it's left for the relevant authority to ensure that they did the needful. So the effort we only did to ensure that these things are not in the market was also only to report. And that's what the stand we are at the moment. If my DG is around, maybe he would have known more, but I know that he is part of the son, so he will do the needful in that category. The lightweight concrete. You see, most of this is the adaptations is within us. If we the practitioners, we're able to, we know that, okay, the lightweight concrete, it can pass the test of time. It's for us to advertise it, because it looks as if most of us were not even advertising what the result we found. We are not telling people this is what it is. And government, as it is at the moment, seems not to be interested in getting, taking the actions. Even if you report anything, they don't seem to take actions. I would have expected the proper government to ensure that, okay, if any report is given to you, go into detail of the report and ensure that you implement it. And once report is given to you and you implement the result, I think everybody, it's just like somebody beating up the traffic, you caught him, you don't tell anything to him. Next time we do the same thing. So most of our product, most of our results that we are getting, at the end of the day, if we're not advertising it, people may not even know the value. And in as much as they know the value, they don't intend to go there. So it's left for us as professionals to ensure that we do the needful by advertising whatever we found, especially we in the Research Institute. Whatever we found, let us try as much as possible to advertise it. And once people see the usefulness in that product, I think people will adopt it.
Thank you, sir. In the first place, on getting to this place, I was surprised that an organization like Standard Organization of Nigeria was not carried along or represented. So I want to suggest to organizers that against next time, your state standard organization should be invited to be part of this program. They have a duty to. You have many things to benefit for their being part of it. That's number one. Lawlessness is not good. We quite understand the public servant that said we have nothing to do when we saw something that was bad. A government official does not want to sue a government official. But is that true that our civil liberties as individuals to seek redress in areas of complaint where we suffered one thing or the other is not in our constitution? Do we need a special National Assembly resolution to exercise natural individual liberty to seek redress against individuals or organizations that has done anything that is injurious to your own right too? More so something you have purchased. I think that's an attitude we all must look at that will not help the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to commend Dr. Jubri for that presentation, which was well presented. My questions are two. In the first instance, you made mention of Nibri blocks, which are being produced from laterites. And it's not only bricks that are being produced from laterites. We also have road construction making use of laterites as part of their materials. But over time, these materials, being a natural material, will be going into extinction due to depletion. I want to ask that what is your institute doing in taking into cognizance the fact that laterite or as a material for making brick is a natural material which its depletion should be guided against. In your presentation, you made mention of plastic bricks, I think, which is also being incorporated into the laterite for production. So basically, what is the institution or what is your institute doing in order to prevent or to guide against the depletion of the natural resources as far as the use of laterite is concerned? Another thing is, with the use of or with the production of the bricks and with the fact that you are introducing it into the into Nigeria for usage. Its adoption as a construction material, how far has it gone as far as adoption is concerned? Now, I discovered that the use of concrete block is still in use, despite the fact that the use of lateritic brick has advantages. For example, if you shoot a house that is made of lateritic brick, it's not possible for the bullet to enter. But with the advantages of the use of laterite or lateritic bricks, I discovered that the adoption of it is not being practiced really in Nigeria as it is compared to the European countries. So what is the effort of the Institute in ensuring that adoption of bricks as material for construction is being put into practice in the country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your two questions. What are we doing in respect of natural resources? What do we, because they are natural materials, what do you do? In fact, let me put it this way. The laterite you pick, because it's in abundance in Nigeria, we found out that because now it's not, because the second question will address that issue. But what I'm trying to say next is that the natural material that we have is in abundance. So if something that is scarce, then you'll now be getting scared of using them. But in as much as they are not scarce, I'm very sure if we use them because they're in abundance, and that's the essence of it. Because they're in abundance, you can use them free time at any time till you can use them. If they are scarce, then we would have been thinking of, okay, how do we preserve them? How do we maintain those natural resources? But laterite, as you said, is in abundance. We can use them anytime. You can utilize them anytime. So issue of maybe thinking of preserving them for the future purposes, I don't think we can, because if you take the laterite, anyway, you borrow it, you can take your laterite from that area, and in as much as you can fill them back, it's good to go because they are in abundance. They are not scarce for us to think of how to preserve them. But certainly, we must always have a solution to a problem. If something happens that way, because they're in abundance, we shouldn't take it by chance. That because what if they finish? What do we do? But I believe that laterite, as far as Nigeria is concerned, laterite is something that we can play with it, wake up and do everything with it at any point in time. But we'll think of that one to ensure that, okay, how do you preserve that particular environment that we maybe take the laterite? It's something that maybe we can also look at it so that we can find solutions that want to preserve it. Issue of what are we doing in case of making it implementable is what I've said. The ministry have developed interest in it, and they've told me to, in fact, they said I should send a proposal to the ministry. I've done that, and which I'm very sure that with time, I think the government will put up, I don't know, but I'm very sure that with time, they'll be able to bring up recommendations as respect to our neighboring blocks.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdurazak Abdullahi. I would like to thank you for the presentation, but my own question will go in line of cost, the cost implication. Fine, we've seen the different advantages that we can derive from all these pozzolan, especially the Nibri bricks. But like we all know, we are in Nigeria. When you try to fight the system fights you back. So we know some people, they benefit a lot from this cement production and its associates. So what steps are the government taking in such a way that when the adoption of all these pozzolanas and the bricks are into market and being enforced, there will not be any fight back, so that we, the common masses, can be able to get this product at cheap price. Since we said we are trying to replace cement because of its high cost. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. The step I think what we're trying to put across is this commercial people, they call it patenting. We patent the material so that anytime tea is our own properties, we ensure that we have it. And if by the time it comes to play and the government have said, okay, this kind of things we are going to use, we ensure that we have authority over it because it's our own properties, we patent the properties. So at any point in time, by the time government deem it necessary that, okay, it's important for them to use it, then I think because it's our own right, we can be able to regulate it from our own point of view. We can be able to say, okay, this is actually maybe in terms of price control. There's particular agencies that control the prices. So we ensure that the relevant agencies that have to do with price control of those materials will be informed and will be guided appropriately. At the moment, no. At the moment, no. So we need commercializations. If any company that is available that can help us, our own of giving the research, this is what we've done. So we need people to come up to actually announce it. But the capacity to produce it in large quantity at the moment, answer is no.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jubril. I think he has done justice to the work, despite the fact that he's not the one that is supposed to be the original presenter. Thank you very much. So I think with this, we have come to the end of this keynote address session. And I want to hand over to Professor Rahim for the next.
Thank you very much, the team, and especially the lecturer in PubDu. We appreciate it. Now, I'm sure you are hungry, isn't it? We want to go for lunch break. But before we go, let me introduce some important people that came in while the team was going on. Let me welcome the team from Ibadan, Oyo State NIOB.